Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and welcome to the fifth installment in this new series, What the Heck is Meant By? And in this series, it is my goal to cover and offer some clarity for some of the most commonly misunderstood spiritual terms, as well as those that are being purposefully diluted. And while many spiritual traditions may have their own more specific definition, and many religions may have their own specific definitions that correlate with their dogma, what I'm providing you here is a very clear, concise definition that should help you to understand these things within most any spiritual tradition. With any luck, we can take something that is obscure or mystical and bring it down and put it into more practical terms. So this fifth installment is going to cover conscious awareness. Now, this is probably the most challenging topic thus far, because defining this is incredibly difficult. I'll do my best to help you grasp the concept of what is meant by this term, conscious awareness, through the most mindfully chosen words that I can possibly offer. But it comes down to this. It's kind of like smelling the lilacs on a beautiful blooming lilac bush and trying to describe to someone else the incredible fragrance of those blossoms. How could that possibly be put into words? So just know going into today's episode that no words can clearly define something that's beyond words. Indeed, it's even beyond the comprehension of the mind when we look at things like conscious awareness. What we can do is get an idea that offers us enough clarity that we can catch some kind of glimpse of what is actually meant by conscious awareness. In order to begin, let's take a look at what conscious awareness is not. And the first area I would like to cover here is mental consciousness. If we understand mental consciousness of something we are aware of, in other words, I am aware that I'm speaking into the microphone right now, that is mental consciousness. That's when we are utilizing the conscious mind. We are conscious and aware of what we are doing at that moment. That is not the same as conscious awareness. That is actually a mental process and the utilization of the mind. So through this, hopefully you can understand that when we are using the conscious mind, that has nothing to do with our conscious awareness. Indeed, if we look at it, it would be something quite the opposite. So if we break the mind into the conscious and the subconscious, we could even look at the unconscious, right? But if we have the conscious and the subconscious, neither one of those areas of mind have anything to do with our conscious awareness. Those are aspects of mind. And the mind is not awareness. I've heard some spiritual teachers stress that your conscious awareness is there in your subconscious mind. And this is definitely not the case. Conscious awareness that we are speaking of in spirituality has nothing to do with the conscious nor the subconscious aspects of mind. Likewise, conscious awareness is not your attention. Attention is simply another form of the mind. It's another aspect of the conscious mind. You are aware of something because you have placed your attention on it. But that is not your conscious awareness. Conscious awareness is also not your imagination. Imagination, too, is just an aspect, a product of the mind. Remember, conscious awareness is not the mind. We'll get into this a little bit more later in the program. And this is the main confusion that I see people having when it comes to conscious awareness, is they believe that it is some aspect of the mind. And I can assure you that it is not. Your conscious awareness is also not a ghostly form or ghostly formlessness sense of yourself where you still have some sort of physical look to your body. This, too, is not what is meant by conscious awareness. Okay, I hope that helps. Now, let's get into what conscious awareness actually is, what this term is referring to. In spirituality, when we refer to conscious awareness, we're referring to our essence, the true self, with a capital S. This is what we truly are. When we hear the phrase mind, body, and spirit, it would be the conscious awareness that is being referred to as spirit in that type of formula. Whether you call it soul, spirit, consciousness, conscious awareness, pure conscious awareness, the observer, the witness, the true self, so on and so forth, all of those things are referring to conscious awareness. If you prefer one of those other terms, then use that. That's fine. Just know that all of these things are referring to the exact same thing. The term soul, or sometimes even spirit, can get a little sticky because of the religious dogma associated with them. But still, I wanted to include them in that list because ultimately, regardless of the correct or incorrect perception for what it's actually referring to, they are in essence referring to the same thing. Okay, let's look at it this way to get started. If we have some unfortunate situation occur and we lose a limb, let's say our right hand has been removed from our body. This obviously affects the physical body. To the physical body, the hand is now gone. It's interesting, though, that the mind has a phantom limb effect and still seems to sense it as being there, even though it's no longer physically there. Now, sometimes people say that energetically it's still there, and that's why the mind senses it. But this is really not the case. We do not hold the physical shape of our body energetically without the body itself. This is understood by when we pass away. That energy leaves our body. So when part of the body is missing or when the body is no longer alive, the energy leaves that area of the body or the body entirely. And we could get into the depth of that, but that is a matter for another show. To grasp the nature of what is actually happening, we need to realize that our conscious awareness is completely unaffected the physical limb, in this case, the right hand. So while the right hand is no longer there physically, and even the phantom limb effect fades over time, so that it is no longer there mentally, we had that injury that has impacted us physically and mentally, but it has not affected our pure conscious awareness. We remain unaffected by the things that happen to this physical body and mind. If we understand this life, this physical and mental life, as merely a projection of sorts, then we understand that it cannot affect us in our true sense, which is conscious awareness. However, the benefit of each lifetime is that through experiences, through doing the very act of the experiencing, we are then able to attain spiritual expansion. And reincarnation shows us this through how, when we diligently engage in our spiritual practices in this life, it's very, very likely that we will find our way back to those practices in the next life to continue with our spiritual expansion, or what may be known as awakening. So through this, we can understand that our conscious awareness doesn't have really anything to do with our physical body nor our mind. It is an aspect of ourself if we look at the formula of mind, body, spirit. And this brings us to the understanding of that formula in which we are trying to unite and balance those three things, while having a true understanding for the fact that what we really are is the conscious awareness and not the body or mind. So we understand then that conscious awareness is something beyond the mind. It is not our conscious mind. It is not our subconscious mind. It has nothing to do with the mind. Yet there is a sense of formless intelligence associated with conscious awareness. And this should not be confused with the term intellect. I'm referring to intelligence here, not in an intellectual way. So if we break it down, the term awareness here refers to how we perceive without any physical sense or mental thought. Remember, it has nothing to do with the physical body, therefore there are no physical senses. You can't see, you can't hear, you can't feel, right? There's no mental thought. It is beyond the mind, so it has nothing to do with the mind, and thinking is the primary aspect of mind. So it is not the mind. This is what is meant by awareness. There is a sense of awareness that is beyond anything we can imagine through the physical senses or mental thought. And I understand that can be a little difficult to wrap our mind around, and indeed, to grasp it fully, it may not even be possible for the human mind. But it gives us a good indication of what we are looking at. A glimpse of this might be seen as something like intuition, where you know something, but you have no idea how you know it, you just do, and it comes to be, or it was right, or what have you. Tapping into that intuition, they say there's a direct correlation there between intuition, conscious awareness, and source or the universe. So we can see something more in that realm of intuition is what we are referring to as awareness. It's beyond words, it's beyond thought, it's beyond physical sensing, beyond feeling. It's just a sense of intuitive knowing, of understanding that just is. And the term conscious here is referring to the intelligent nature of the awareness. So conscious awareness could be seen as our true self, maybe as an energetic vibrational pattern that is consciously aware, and the awareness simply is. Some say that the universe came from consciousness itself, and that this may give a bit of a description to the conscious aspect of our conscious awareness, because that is what we come from as well. So if we understand this, then it is this vibrational energy that is consciously aware. It is your conscious awareness that does not die. This conscious awareness is eternal. When it's time for the physical body and the mind to die, what remains is conscious awareness. This is what we're referring to. Your conscious awareness doesn't have to leave your body at the time of the death, like is taught in forms of soul or spirit. Your vital energy, or what some might call chi, leaves your body, but your conscious awareness was never inside your body to begin with. It never left the place where it resides. Whether you call that place the universe, source, heaven, the great chi field, whatever you want to call it, it never left. If we look at this with the classical view of a single drop in the ocean, we understand that the drop, that would be us, never left the ocean. It never separated from the ocean at all. So the ocean here is symbolic of the universe or the source, the great chi field, whatever you would like to call it. And within that, our conscious awareness as what we perceive as our own individual self, which really doesn't exist, is but a single drop. In reality, we are still connected. We always have been to the ocean. It's just that our mind has created this false sense of separation. And it is this that gives rise to our false sense of self, which is known as the ego. And so while they use the idea of water here for the ocean, what that really represents is energy. It is the energy that is everything, that is in everything, that is everywhere in the known universe. This is what's referred to as the ocean. And this energy, this ocean of energy, is made up of pure conscious awareness. It is this from which we came, and it is this to which we will return. This allows us to better understand the purpose, the core purpose of meditation, because it's by bringing the mind to a point of stillness, of silence, and indeed even transcending the mind itself, that we are then reconnected. We are able to tune in to our conscious awareness, to our true self. When we engage in meditation, we cross the bridge from the physical realm, the external realm, to the mental realm or inner realm. We go inside. We engage the mind. And then we bring that mind to stillness and silence, which opens the door to our spirit, to our conscious awareness, to that which we truly are. And it is then, only when we have silenced the voice of the mind, of the ego, that we become capable to once again tune in to our own true voice. It is not the voice of conscious awareness as something separate from ourselves. It is the voice of who and what we truly are. And I say what more than who, because who would indicate an identity. And this is beyond any form of identity. It simply is. And isn't it interesting how those who meditate the most tend to be far more at peace with themselves, far more at peace with the world around them, far more kind and compassionate, and much more accepting of life? I think this indicates quite clearly the effect that tuning into our conscious awareness has, even as it floods into the projection that we know as our physical and mental life, as reality. And this is why meditation is at the very heart of every single authentic spiritual system. If there is any other known way to cross the bridge from the external to the internal and then open the door to our conscious awareness, if there is any other way than meditation that exists, I have not been able to find it in 40 years of research, study, and practice. This is what the term conscious awareness is referring to. So make sure you don't make the classic mistake of confusing your conscious awareness for the mind. Any aspect whatsoever of the mind has nothing to do with conscious awareness. You see, when we talk about observing our mind, watching our thoughts, a lot of people get confused and believe that they are using their mind to watch their mind, watch their thoughts. How exactly is the mind supposed to look at itself, watch itself as it's doing something? No, it's through the observer or the witness, what we know as our conscious awareness. That is what we use to do the observation, the witnessing. And this requires you to be tuned in to your conscious awareness. Mindfulness practices help you to start to make this connection, this reconnection. Meditative practices then go on to help you to strengthen this connection and become more clear, and at the same time try to bring the mind to a point where it can be disciplined, stilled, silenced more easily. And then meditation is where we get to fully make the connection to our conscious awareness. So if you find any of that difficult, if you find it difficult to engage the observer and pay attention to your thoughts and things, it's probably because you didn't properly engage the practices necessary to help you establish that. The problem we face today is that so many people have this incorrect belief that they can just do it. They can just sit down and do many of these things automatically through will or effort or whatever. And they often find, if not every time, that this is not the case. You need the preparation. That's why these practices exist. There is no shortcut. And these practices must be authentic. They can't be just something we make up, and they can't be something that is created from all of the fake feel-good spirituality that's out there. So be careful, be smart, and prepare yourself to fully engage all of these practices. It is only through your direct personal experience with these practices or meditation that you are able to grasp what I'm trying to describe here. Because remember, the words I'm using pale in comparison to what it truly is. And it cannot be communicated clearly, accurately through words. Only through your own interaction do you come to know the nature of the words. Okay, that one's a bit challenging to get through. You might want to listen to it another time or two, maybe slow it down and stop it at certain points and give yourself time to ponder and realize that you can try to intellectually understand all of this, but that's not possible. Only through your direct personal experience will you come to truly know it, to truly understand it. If we sit and think about it, we're using the mind, and we know that the conscious awareness is beyond the mind. So the only way to know our conscious awareness is to go beyond the mind. This speaks to the importance of no mind. Please make sure to visit me at www.expansionmastery.com. Grab your copy of Expansion Mastery there. You can get it signed if you like. And you can get my ebook that has been newly revised and expanded. I highly recommend that. Please make sure to also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can visit me on Facebook on my author page at Robert D. Bessler. Remember, all the subscribes, likes, comments, and shares help out greatly, and together we are able to reach people and help people to awaken during this great consciousness shift. Until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in your practices and your life. Take care.